Welcome back, special guest Taryn Wright, our resident coordinator. And we had some additional questions coming in from our parents and our students about what to expect when you get into the halls. So Taryn, tell us a little bit about what might be some things to look forward to or activities that might be happening in your spaces.
One of the biggest parts of living in a residence hall is making friends and making sure that you have some type of community that you're excited to call home. So the thing that I'm probably most excited about is that we have a student staff of RAs or resident assistants who live on every single one of your floors. If you're in the UW apartments, we also have RAs out there. And they are really your kind of the first person you might meet in the residence halls. And they can serve as a resource for you, a friend for you, maybe someone to play Madden with in the community lounge, but they're really there to help foster those connections and those relationships. And they are so excited to welcome students back. We have a fairly small number here right now, and their floors are ready to go. They're pumped. They all got door decks up, and they are very excited to meet all of you. So we did keep that student staff. That was something that was essential to our role in ensuring that there was someone there to look out for our students. Beyond our RAs, we also are really trying to take the stance of physical distancing versus social distancing. And what that means is we will ask folks to maintain 6 feet of distance and to wear face coverings, but that does not mean that we don't want folks to make friends, to have someone to eat dinner with, go out to lunch with, maybe play a game of Frisbee with out on the lawn. So our community spaces in our halls are open. We have just limited the capacity in those spaces. So many of our floors have a pretty decent sized room called a community lounge. There's some couches in there, chairs, some study tables, a big TV. And we have kept those spaces open, knowing that we want our folks to really try to meet new people, to branch out. We've just limited those spaces to about 8 to 10 people. And that is monitored by our RAs. So an RA, if there's a large group in there, may walk by and ask folks, hey, can half of you find another space? But not, hey, y'all, you can't hang out, because that is certainly what we want. The biggest change, I think, is that our Washakie Dining Center is, as you all know, over meals is probably a really popular place to make your friends, to kind of sit down with someone. It's not so awkward because you got some pizza, and if there's blank space or a pause, it doesn't feel like you have to fill the space. But our Washakie Dining Center this year doesn't have seating, so it'll be grab and go, but we have implemented and brought in a number of picnic tables outside. So while our weather is really nice, I would encourage you to grab a bite with a friend. And then when it gets a little Wyoming chilly, we also we're anticipating that change. So we've identified some other spaces on campus for some seating. Community lounges are really great space. Lobbies. Our lobbies are quite large. They're kind of like an airport terminal. They're long and wide, but there is space to still grab a bite with a friend, maybe call home, FaceTime somebody. And then our RAs are still anticipating, so their number one role is to really build an individual connection with you. So really get to know who you are, where are you from, what's your major, and then to carry that through the semester. So they'll be knocking on your door, they might text you, they might call you, you might ride the elevator up with them. And they really just want to make sure that your experience at UW is the best that it can be. But they'll also be doing some smaller programs. So game nights, movie nights are not off the table. We just have to get creative with how we might do that. So it might be a Netflix watch party, or it might be 5 or 6 people in the community lounge watching their favorite show, and then the next night, a different 5 or 6 people. We do still want to ensure that you all are getting an on-campus experience, and one that you can meet some of your lifelong friends and make those really great connections.
That was a great explanation. I feel like we're doing our best and people are able to make connections where necessary. And the last point of reference here, I think I just want to ensure, if I were not part of phase 1 and I'm not on campus yet, right? How will I know what phase I'm in and when to move in?
So there should be communication via email about when folks will be moving in. We have identified kind of our second larger move-in days as the 5th and 6th of September, with school starting on the 7th and 8th. And right now on campus, so I manage a building that holds about 340 students. And right now I have about half, so I have about 150. So if you weren't a part of phase one, rest assured there are still going to be a whole bunch of folks moving in all across campus. And there have been some good connections made, but there are definitely folks still looking for friends. I have residents ask me every day, like, when is my neighbor getting here? When is the person, down the hall from me moving in? We have the same name. They are so excited to meet folks. And we also kind of did a phased approach in our planning as well. So for instance, when folks first got here for Cowboy Connect, we did a floor meeting where you meet your RA, you learn rules and policies, you play a name game. We're also going to do that for our phase two folks as well. And that'll be with our entire community. So it's not as if you didn't move in early, you missed a whole bunch. We're just going to do it again, likely a little bigger, a little more pizzazz in that, knowing that we'll have some more residents here. But we still want to bring folks in and not have folks feel like they missed a whole lot. Move-in will look a little different, but we're still trying to add our Wyoming flair and our cowboy spirit to that. You just may get a few more individual connections versus those group interactions, but you will certainly see people. People are certainly super excited to meet you. I know I was in the building, without my residents for about 4 months. So the fact that they're coming back and are excited to be here is something that we're really, really all looking forward to.
Excellent. I'm so excited for these students and really appreciate you giving us that expert lens on how this will look or work. And students should be expecting some communication from the Res Life team. So that's great. Yeah. And I think we're at what I would consider some clarifying pause here for what parents have asked. So that's great. I think we'll get back together when we hear more from our parents and students. But with that, Taryn, thank you for being such an expert and helping us better understand how the experience might look in the next few days and coming weeks.